Hello and welcome to the Non-Perfect Parents Club podcast. I'm Emma, a mama of 2 girls, an ex-nursery practitioner and the creator of the Non-Perfect Parents Club. The Non-Perfect Parents Club is all about support, honesty, truths, acknowledging that none of us can be perfect parents because it's impossible, and basically just speaking the unspoken. The only rule here is no judgment allowed. I love hearing people's stories. I love finding out about other parents, their family dynamics, their values and how they tick. So that is what this podcast is going to be. Some great honest conversations about parenting, hopefully delving into some nitty-gritty thoughts and feelings that will make us all laugh, cry and sigh a big sigh of relief. Hello and welcome back to the Non-Perfect Parents Club podcast. I am super excited for this episode because for those of you who know this guest, you will not believe I've managed to pin her down to record this. I can hardly believe it myself. So welcome to the podcast, Jennifer, mum of 3 and local street dance legend. Thank you for joining me today. We'll go straight into the questions. So if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your family dynamic and any heritage.
Okay, so I am Jennifer from the Jennifer's Dancers. So I have 3 kids. I'm going to use the word blended family because it's very on trend. Because Jay was from a previous relationship, and then I've got my 2 girls with my husband. I am actually from a family of 4 kids, so I'm sort of used to the sort of bigger family dynamic. My dad was adopted, so we have always we're a bit obsessed with their long lost family because we're like, because it's totally that, it was that era where if you weren't married or whatever, you put your kid up for adoption. So we've always been intrigued in that side of things because we don't know my dad's side, so that's always been interesting. And then my mum was one of 3 as well. Right. So again, sort of big families.
Oh wow. Yeah, my nan was adopted, and it blows my mind a little bit because it is that thing. We managed to find some of her family, and hers was like something out of a novel. Like her mum was a maid in a manor house. It was a New Year's Eve party, and
wow.
So her birth dad was the Lord of the Manor.
Right.
It was
wow.
Yeah.
So we did find a little bit of info, and that was that she was a nurse.
Oh right.
He was a doctor.
Oh wow.
So again, who knows what the situation was there? Yeah. Was it an affair? Was it not? And it was just,
Yeah.
And she'd given him a name.
Right.
I think he was meant to be called Peter.
Right.
And she'd had him for 6 weeks.
Really?
And I think it was one of those situations where she breastfed him.
Right.
Because that's what used to happen.
Yeah.
And so she could feed the baby, and then they took him. And
Yeah.
so it's mind blowing because you just know for a fact. But I mean, for my dad, it was definitely a case of, well, she didn't want me, so.
Yeah,
there was a lot of that there.
My nan
there was
there
was a lot of that there, and it's like I know from watching Long Lost Family that is not the case.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting one,
Yeah.
and it's for me. It brings me a lot of questions like, oh well, where do I get my rhythm from?
Yeah,
where do I get that from?
Yeah.
Is it that side? You know,
Yeah.
or do they have sort of links to other countries?
Yeah.
Because like sometimes I'm like, I'm totally not white British.
Yeah.
Like I can't be. I like so much stuff from other cultures. There must be something in there.
Yeah.
You know,
it's that not knowing as well, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on that question?
No, I think that's it.
So, number 2, the main rule of the Non-Perfect Parents Club is no judgment allowed. Have you ever felt judged in your parenting, and can you tell us about it?
So, generally now, I don't feel judged at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's mainly because of my mindset with that.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I had an issue. 'Cause I had Jay when I was really young, so I was about 19, 20 when I had Jay. And I'd split with his dad and we were living in Kendal, and there was a toddler group, and I was like, oh, I'm totally going to go to the toddler group. I need to meet some people, I need to make some friends. I walked into this toddler group and oh my God, I was treated horrendously.
Really?
Like literally, like no one talked to me, no one looked at me, like I tried to make conversation and people just sort of like said yes and turned their back. It was awful, and I was just like, I'm not going back there ever again. So that was probably the one time I felt really judged for being a young parent. When I look back at things now, like I remember the midwife saying to me, "Wow, you're actually doing a really good job." And now I look back, it's like, that's actually quite offensive.
Yeah.
But at the time I was like, "Oh, cheers." But it's like, why can't a young person do a good job? It doesn't really matter how old you are.
No.
And sometimes I was judged a little bit because Jay's mixed race. Not that I was judged, it was people were assuming things. They're like, "Did you adopt him?"
Really?
Oh, I've had that so many times.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Like you can have a relationship with somebody of a different race. Like I just it was that was balmy, and I've had that quite a bit. On holiday I'd have it a lot.
Really?
From like Spanish people, and like they'd be like, "Oh, that's your son, adopted?" I'm like, "No, it's my son." Which is bonkers. I think the most judgment I ever feel is actually not in parenting, is actually with my job.
Right.
So it's like, "Oh, you own a business. Oh, you must be a millionaire." And I think we've had this conversation before. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And it's always from employed people because they don't get it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's what probably annoys me the most about judgment rather than parenting. Yeah. So it was more parent when I was younger because I was being judged and being young. And now it's like I'm being judged for running a business.
Yeah.
You know,
people don't see the behind the scenes, do they? They have no idea what's going on, and it's that thing of, I mean, how often do you like take the benefits from that business? I mean, you've got to do that, but it's always that's not the first thing you do, is it? But people, that's the first thing that people see. So they just automatically presume, "Oh, you're doing amazing. Oh, you're minted." And
so they go into the good example is they go into the car garage, they're buying a tyre, and they're like, "I've just given you 80 quid," and it's like, well, you haven't though, because the tyre cost, and then the staff cost, and then so you're probably giving me about 8 quid.
If that.
£1.92. And then it's like people will go to me, they'll go, "Oh, you've got 20 kids in that class, and they're all paying £6. Oh, you're making them in. Whoa, hang on a minute. Like hall hire, PRS, like insurances, staff costs, like the list is endless.
And then there's your time, energy and skills. You know, I know how, like, you don't stop, do you? Like, I always ask you, like, do you ever sleep? Because you're just always on the go. And that is like, that's why your dance school is what it is.
And so when people are like, "Oh yeah, you must be rolling in it," you sort of want to say to them, "Oh well, if I write down my hours, I'm probably on £1.92 an hour." And it's like, but then also you sort of think to myself, well, if I was doing well, do I not deserve to?
Yeah.
Because I've just worked
that's it,
every single hour of the day and slept for 4, you know? So it's that's what's frustrating. It's like, don't judge. Why can't you just, if you see somebody doing well, why can't you just go, "Well done, she's worked hard for that." Like, well done. It's interesting as well, because I was talking to my friend about work and things, and I said, so many people are like, "Oh, you need to put more classes on." It's like, at what point? At where? Where do you put more classes on? Because there's not actually enough hours in the day, unless your kid like skives off school.
That's it.
You know, they're at school, and then you know there's only so much time. And that's such
a short window, really, isn't it?
And I said also, there's only so much time that I can give. And my friend said, what's a great example of it is if somebody had, and if somebody was employed, right? So they're employed. Somebody wouldn't turn around to them and go, "I know, I've got an idea. Why don't you work Saturday and Sundays as well?" So it's like, you know, and you get it a lot. Like my other friend who runs dancing schools in a mood the other day, and I was like, "Oh, what's wrong? What's going on?" There's always gossip between dancing schools, and she's like, "One of the dance parents is telling me to flipping put singing lessons on as well." And I was like, well, she was probably only trying to suggest, but obviously to her it's like she's trying to tell her how to run a business, and it's like, you know, I wouldn't go into the garage and go, "Nah, you shouldn't be put that chair on like that."
We get people that do that.
There's no escape.
There isn't.
There's no escape.
So do you think, like you said, obviously you felt judged in your parenting when you were younger, do you think that's a confidence that comes with age, more children, or just
I think
like
100%, because it's all about mindset. There's everything. If you think about it in life, everything's about mindset. I've been reading all these books about mindset, and as I've been reading them, it's like tips on how to improve your mindset. And I'm thinking most of them I do actually do already, and I think that's definitely what helps me. I just think if you want to give your kid an iPad, give your kid an iPad.
Yeah.
However, there's a limit, isn't there? So it's like, so you know when you go to a restaurant and you're looking over and there's a kid on the iPad, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But when I've seen the food then come, they're still on the iPad, and then they walk to the toilet and they're on the iPad, and you're like, what? Like, there's a limit.
Yeah.
So it's like, you shouldn't feel like, I'll give my kids, when we're at the restaurant, my phone to play on a game. Yeah. When the food comes, our rule is you put it away, or when the guy comes over, you put it away so you can order and be polite, and we make sure our kids order so that they're talking and you know, and saying what they want and everything else and being polite. Because we had one issue, we started this because we had an issue where Jay was on his phone once. He was only young at this time, and he just carried on looking at the phone. He went, yeah, orange juice. And I was like, whoa, no. So we were like, right, if we're going out for a meal and it costs a flipping lot of money to go out for a meal, that wasn't it. I said, it's phones away. So we're like, you know, but at the same time, if they're going to be bored because they're waiting for like 45 minutes, then give them that, but then have that limit. Yeah. So it's having that limit. So it's like, I'm not going to feel judged if I do that. Yeah. And I don't think anyone should feel like they're going to be judged for doing that, because everybody gives their kids a phone or an iPad. Yeah, yeah. You know, it's the limit. It's finding that limit. Yeah. You know,
I guess it's finding what works for you as a family as well. And I had this conversation on Saturday actually, and I said, like, you know, we all just do what works for us. Like, everyone else is going to parent different to me because they're different to me and my kids are different and I've got different values and stuff. I wouldn't look at someone else and think, oh, well, I don't do that, so I'm going to judge you. It's just, you just got to do what works for you, haven't you? And
100%.
You know, it's what you do, and it doesn't matter what anyone else does at the end of the day, does it?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about parenting? Good, bad? Has it changed you? And have you got any regrets?
So what's interesting about this one is, because I had Jay so young, I feel like all I've done is be a parent. Yeah. And that, because of my line of work as well, it doesn't stop with my 3 kids. No. I've got like 250 kids. Yeah. Like your girls, I feel like I'm their second mum. Yeah. That's really weird. Yeah. But like, do you know what I mean?
I know totally what you mean.
Because it's like they're almost growing up with me, and sometimes they can tell me stuff that maybe they wouldn't want to talk to their parents about. Like, only the other day we were having a discussion with the teenagers, and one girl was like, oh, but I thought you had to go to uni if you went to sixth form. I was like, no. And we had this massive chat about, well, this is my view. So I was saying this is my view, but I said, when you go to uni, it's a lot of debt. I said, so you have to make sure that you want to do that course and you're going to get a job of it out at the end of it. That's just my personal opinion. If you don't have to go to uni, like it's not a thing you have to do. And you know, we talk about a lot of stuff, but so I feel like I've always been a parent, like just constantly from sort of day one. So it's an interesting one, because I now have a lot of friends who are only just becoming parents, right? And they parent me and Dave call it only child syndrome, like, or it's first child syndrome. First child syndrome, when we've all done it. We've all done it. So you have just the one child, and it's like, oh my god, they got a cough. Yeah. Oh my god, and it's like everything, and it's just, oh, we can't possibly go out for a meal at 5:30. Yeah. No, can't possibly. No, they'd cry, and it's like, right, okay, and it's funny because we've all done it. Yeah. And we can see it more because obviously we've already lived through it. Yeah. So it's an interest. We feel like we have a totally different sort of look because we've always parented and we're still parenting. And with the regret thing, I literally live by there's no regrets. Yeah. Because I think in life everything happens for a reason. Yeah. So even if you've made something that you might feel is a bad decision, it's led you just down a different path. Yeah, which, totally. You know. Yeah, yeah. Like, it was a bad decision for me to go out with Jay's dad, but gave me Jay, and like he's such an awesome lad. Yeah. So it's just, you know, it's one of those things that. There's bad decisions, but then it just leads you down somewhere else. Yes. Yeah, totally. You know, so you can't ever be like, oh, I wish I didn't do that. Because it's stupid to think like that anyway.
And once it's done, isn't it? Yeah. You can't change it.
You can't change it. Yeah. So it would be silly to live in that situation where it's like, oh, I wish I'd never done that, or I wish I shouldn't have done that, because you can't do anything about it. Yeah. You know? But yeah, I just feel like I've been a constant parent. So in a way, it's not changed me.
Yeah.
Because it's always been me.
And it's a really good point that you make, because that's something that I've seen like a few posts and stuff, and I thought, oh my gosh, like we talk about the village, but you are part of like all those children's village.
Yeah.
Because and you know, you're a role model to them. You're part of that support network.
Yeah.
And obviously I'd thought of that for you in terms of my girls, but I'd not really thought of how many children.
Yeah, well, one thing that is actually a bit weird is you obviously make a connection with all these kids, and what is weird, and it doesn't get any easier, I don't think, because I've been doing it for like 18 years. When they leave, sometimes they don't want to tell me that they're gonna leave, so they just leave.
Right.
And you don't hear anything. And it's like, oh, are you coming back or not? And then their parents will be like, oh yeah, they're not going to come back. And it's like, I've just invested 10 years of my life on your child. Yeah. And it's like, that's it? Is that it? And sometimes some of them, they'll walk past me in the street and they won't say hi.
Oh, really?
And I don't know whether that's because they think I'm not going to recognise them. Yeah. But I recognise everyone. Yeah. Like, as in, I'll be in the hairdressers and there's a new hairdresser and I'm like, I taught her when she was 6. Yeah. You know, well, but you don't know whether to say it or not, do you?
Because obviously I was a nursery nurse, nursery practitioner, whatever it's called now, but I'll see children, I did it the weekend actually, and I'll be with my husband, I'll be like, oh my God, I used to look after them, and I go, how do you recognise them? I'm like, I just do. Yeah. You just know, don't you?
Because you invest time into that child, you get to know them. And that sounds so silly from my point of view, because I'm only with them an hour a week. Yeah. But like, some of these kids, I'm like, oh, you know, they maybe have autism, or they maybe have ADHD, or they maybe learn differently, or they maybe need this, and maybe they need that. And I'm like, I'm with them for an hour a week. I don't really understand how I can see this, but I can see it. Yeah. I can see it. And then I'll look on the medical form and it doesn't say anything that anything's been picked up from primary school yet. And I'm like, that's a whole different topic. Yeah. But that's a podcast for another day. But I'm like, what is going on here? Like, because these kids need teaching and helping in a different way. Yeah. And that's, you know, and again, so it can be upsetting when I'm technically pretend parenting these kids, and then they sort of go, or they'll send me a text, thanks for everything, had a really great time, gotta focus on my exams now, and it's like, and I get it, everyone has to move on, obviously, I can't have, you know, people till they're 40.
Could you imagine?
I did have one girl that came till she was like 26, but yeah, and it's one of those, but it is sad to sort of let them go. It's worse when they're going when they shouldn't be going. Yeah. I had one lad years ago and he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do it anymore. His friend had moved to Australia and he just, I think he felt a bit lost without her. And I was like, no, you've got at least 2 years left in you. No. And I was really like, and now I'll see him, shouldn't have left, should I? And I'm like, well, I told you. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, you've still got that link with them. Sometimes it depends on the person. Some of them do put their head down. They don't want to speak to me. But then, to be honest, sometimes I can be like that. Yeah. Sometimes I can be a bit like, oh, I'm not in my dance zone today.
Well, that's the other thing as well, isn't it? Yeah. Like when you're out, or if you're out like with your family and stuff, it's that thing.
It's a bit like, great example is, highest point. Yeah. You went. Everyone went. I won't go. Really? It's there's a couple of different reasons. I mean, I don't know. One day you might see me there because I think Heidi's like, what's highest point? So I'm like, well, if she wants to go, I'll take her. But I don't want to see the teenagers in states that they shouldn't be in. Yeah. My safeguarding brain will be going, what do I do now? So I'm not technically on shift. Yeah. Like, do I tell the parents? And I wouldn't be comfortable in that situation. Yeah. I do know a lot of teachers that do go, and I don't know how they manage it because it's a difficult situation with so many young people there. And just the amount of people, like my brother was talking about, he went and he was going, everyone's going to be asking for a prize for a kitchen. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And he did like this funny little Snapchat story about it, and it was so true. And he was going, all right, mate, how much for a kitchen? Ballpark figure. And it's like, it's so true. Yeah, it's like, you know, so that's one of the reasons sometimes, and obviously we had our big show, and it's just like, for me, if I've got like even one day off, even half a day off, I just want to stay at home and be quiet.
Yeah.
Like almost be the opposite to what I am. Because when you're at work, sometimes it's not an act, it is me, but sometimes it is an act because you might have a lot of stuff going on at home and you've got to be like, hi, you know.
It's
like,
intense, isn't it?
It's full on, it's intense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've gone off track, I think, there. But,
we knew we would, didn't we? Is there anything in your life that has shaped how you parent that you're happy to talk about? Any situations or circumstances that have affected this?
So I've got, I've mentioned before, obviously Jay's from a different dad. So when I was with Jay, Jay's dad, I was 17 when I first got with him, I think, 17 or 18. And then we split up when Jay was just after Jay was born. The relationship was really controlling, to the point of if he did that behaviour now, we'd be in prison. But back then it wasn't a thing. But for me, for little things like when I got pregnant with Jay, I was like, whoa, because obviously I was doing my dancing and I was heading for loads of professional jobs.
Right.
And then next minute, I was like, whoa, hang on a minute, this is going to complete, because I didn't want to go into teaching at all.
Right.
I was at dance college, I was like, I ain't being no dance teacher. I was like, no, I'm not doing those exams, I don't want to be a dance teacher. And they were like, oh, you got to do it as a backup. I'm like, oh god, really, I'm just going to perform, and that's what it had in my mind, that's all I was going to do. And then when I found out I was pregnant with Jay, his reaction was, yes, I've trapped you.
Right.
And it's like, that red flags.
Yeah.
But at that time
you don't know they're red flags.
I was a bit like, oh, that's right, okay. And I think if it wasn't for Jay being born, I probably would have got out of it, but it made me get out of it more, made me get out of the situation more, because I was just like, I am not having Jay living in this household in this toxic environment, like the way that he used to behave, the way that he used to act. And when I left him, I actually had to do it in secret, so I actually tell my mum and dad what was going on, because I knew if I told my mum and dad, they'd be so mortified that they'd want me to leave, so then that would make me leave, because I wouldn't want to upset my mum and dad. So they got a van, we left. Jay was tiny, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. And of course I was doing the right thing. And then we found out that he'd taken out loads of money in my name. It came up to like 20 grand. Wow. So I'm like 19, single mum, 20 grand in debt through stuff I hadn't bought. So I couldn't sell that stuff and then pay it back. So then we started going down the whole, obviously, the court route. They were like, you're never going to get this money back because you can't, it's too difficult to prove that he took it without you knowing. It was an absolute nightmare. So I had to pay, so I was 19, 20, I had to pay all that money back. I had to then go through a massive court battle for access, because obviously his dad wanted access. And this is another judgement thing actually, I got majorly judged in court for being one of those mums that doesn't let the dad see the kid for no reason. Because there's a lot of women out there that would do that. There's a lot of men out there that would do that. You know, there's a lot of people out there that would go, oh, you're not allowed to see the kids just because they don't like who they're going out with, or just because they don't like them. And it's like, no, you have to have a real reason. And so my reason was, I didn't want him to see him because of the controlling aspect, and I didn't think that he was safe there. And cutting a long story short, it was years and years and years. And again, I had to go and teach dance. After I'd been to court, then I'd go to teach dance. And back then I had like a CD player and like a case of CDs. And I'd turn the CD player on and I'd be like, oh my God. And I'd turn around and be like, hey guys. In a way it helped. Sometimes it helped. So, so I was going through all of this. And then we actually had a social worker involved that said, he's not fit to see. He shouldn't be seeing him. Basically it's unsafe. So I was like, this is what we needed, this is great. Went to court, the judge went, you can see him every other weekend and a week you can take him a week abroad.
Oh my God.
And I just sat there and I was like, what? The social worker has said he's unfit, like, what on earth? So I just thought, I can't do anything. This is out of my control now, I can't do anything. And this is when I say, like, no regrets and everything happens for a reason, because Jay then got a chance to have a relationship with his dad, see what he's like, and by the time he was 11 he went, no, I ain't seeing him anymore.
Right.
Because it was one of them situations, and again, I'm not judging, but I see it sometimes at dance where, I can't do the show because it's my dad's weekend. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's not your dad's weekend.
No.
It's your weekend
Yeah.
with your dad, meaning that dad has his chance to parent you,
Yeah.
which means that he takes you to the show. He sits there and watches you because that's what you like to do, and it is about you.
Yes.
And it takes people, when they're in a, because I can talk from experience, quite a while to understand that it's about the child.
Yes.
And that's the issue that the courts had.
Yeah.
And I was being sort of tarred with this brush that I was, being like, oh no, it's about me and I want to keep hold of that child forever. And it's like, no, I just wanted to keep him safe.
Yeah.
But I feel now that Jay's 18, if he had said, right, okay, yeah, he's not allowed to see him at all, Jay might be like, well, what's my dad like? And, and he had a chance to see him, and his dad had a chance to build a really good relationship with him, but he didn't, you know. And his dad now, I mean, I don't reply to any of his messages, but he'll message me and he'll be like, you've never let me see my son, and I'm like, I didn't, I actually did let you, the court said that, I've done everything by the book, it's just that you didn't do the right things to create that relationship. So I think for me, all of that has been probably been, it sounds weird, it was the worst thing but the best thing that's happened to me, because as regards to money, it's made me so good with money, because I was 19 with 20 grand's worth of debt. Like, it's like getting a bill through the post, 20 grand, and you have to pay it. But I hadn't bought, right now, like, if somebody said, oh, you owe 20 grand, I'd be like, oh, right, okay, well, I'll sell this and I'll sell that, I'd have stuff to sell. I had nothing. So with money, it's made me, like, if we need a new sofa, it's like, right, well, we're going to save, we'll save up for that, like, we need a new sofa now, but we're going to have to wait a year, we're going to have to wait 2 years, whatever, like, and it's like interest-free credit, it's like, I don't care, I ain't getting it, because number one, when I had this 25, I had, like, bad credit, so for 6 years, I couldn't get anything, because all these things on my name, so then it actually made me better. Now I've got like 100% credit rating, like, they're like throwing money at me, like, do you want to borrow this? I'm like, no, because if I can't afford it, then I don't need it. Like, and again, that's another massive issue, and I see it a lot, and
that's the thing. Like, you just get it on tick, don't you?
And it's like, but if you don't actually need that, and I think that's a really important thing for parenting as well. Like, if your kids can see that you're paying bills and you're, you're not just getting anything that you want, because you're just living not in the real world,
and then you've got to work for it.
You've got to work for it. You have to work for it. So if I ever want something, it's like, right, okay, I'm gonna just keep working, keep grafting. I might go and I don't do a lot of schoolwork now, but if there's something extra I need to do, I'm like, oh, well, that school want me in, maybe I'll just go and do it, and that's what you've got to do. And again, like, I think from the bad experience that I had, actually made it better. At the time, it was awful, but, it was probably like a good hellish, like, 5 years. And then it just calmed down. And then obviously when Jay said he didn't want to see him anymore, that was his decision. And I thought, well, going to be back in court because he won't accept that decision. And he never did anything about it. Right. Like, he kept on obviously trying to communicate with him and see him, but then that was sort of it. But it's interesting because I do think that it's like when we were saying about no regrets. It's like those bad paths that you take can actually make you better in the end.
Totally.
And I think that's where I get a lot of my sort of like work ethic from. Well, I definitely think I get it from my dad as well, because he was like an absolute grafter. But that's where I get a lot of my sort of like parenting sort of like morals from. And also, like, with Jay now, I'm like, right, how not to treat girls like your dad.
Well, well, this is the other thing, isn't it? And, like, I was in a really bad relationship when I was 17 to 20, I think. Very, very similar. Obviously,
Yeah.
I just didn't have children with him, thankfully. That, again, ended up in court. He beat me up. It was horrific, harassed me for, until I got with T, basically. But I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Oh, no. But that with my girls, that's something I'm always like super, like obviously they're still quite young, so we've not had many conversations yet, but I'm always like, my friends laugh at me and like for being a feminist and stuff, but I'm super conscious of, I wouldn't ever want them to get into a relationship where their self-worth is affected so much by someone else, because
it's a big fear, I think. For me, it's a big fear with my girls, because it's the same. Our girls are similar ages, aren't they? Really? And Heidi's very needy,
right?
And it's like, that's a concern for me, because I'm like, well, I don't want you to be needy and getting involved with sort of like the wrong characters. But I think maybe we're going to be on high alert for that, aren't we? And
I think, and we'll probably spot them red flags straight away.
But then it's like, are they going to listen?
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? It's, you can't
that's a whole,
tell someone,
it's a whole new level of parenting. Yeah. It's so interesting, isn't it? 'Cause it's like there's the baby stage.
Yeah.
And I'm totally out of that stage now. I'm now in this, I'm in a really weird stage, because Jay's 18 and he's going to uni, and it's like there's all these forms to fill in, and it's like that's a really weird stage. He's going out and he's driving, and the other day he wanted to drive to Liverpool and it was chucking it down with rain, and I was like, Jay, just get on the train. He was like, we were on the phone and he's going, well, there's one of the trains cancelled and I'm going to have to get a rail replacement bus. I'm not getting a bus. And I'm like, he's like, I've got a driving licence and I've got a car, let me just drive to Liverpool. You won't let me. And I'm like, it's not that I'm not letting you. Yeah. I said, you're 18, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. I'm just advising you, your first time on the motorway is not the best when it's torrential rain and it's going to Liverpool. Yeah. I'm like, could we not just go to Preston first? And it's again, but then that was a tricky one, because it's like, he's 18, he can do whatever he wants, but it's so funny, because he's like, you're not letting me. And then he came in the other day with like a kind of like monster or something. Like, don't tell me off. I'm like, what? And I looked at him and I thought, well, you drink, mate. What? Like it doesn't matter. And he was like, you told me I'm not allowed to drink these. And I went, well, yeah, only because it, like some people are down in like 4 cans a day. Like, just don't do that. Like, you'll have heart palpitations.
It's obviously I'm not at that stage yet, but
it's
heading into it, and it's
the thing is with Jay, he's been kind to me. Yeah, like he's not been, but one thing that is really worrying for me as a parent is drugs. Yes, there's massive pandemics at the minute. Yeah, and the way that kids have got so badly hooked on like vaping, I think is just it just shows you how easily the balloon thing is horrendous. Yeah. Absolutely horrendous.
It's scary, isn't it?
And it's just like everyone seems to be doing it. And it's just like Jay said, there's been occasions where he's been somewhere and literally everyone's doing something and he's just sitting there. Yeah. And it's like, and it's so annoying, because it's just like, please don't. Yeah. And I love the fact that he can be open with me.
Yeah, that's really good.
And talk to me about that kind of stuff. I better tell him not to listen to this.
Yeah,
we're talking about me on this with you. But do you know what I mean? Like, that is such a big worry for me, because I only have a very small circle of friends who don't do anything like that. But like, my brother's always going on about people, because he works in the building trade. So it's just and it's so scary. And again, it's like a highest point thing. It's like,
I was just going to say,
I don't want to see anyone that I know or that I teach or any parents or anyone, I don't want to see it. Yeah. So I stay clear from it. Yeah. And it's funny, because my mum was like, I thought you'd like going to that kind of thing. No. No. Yeah. And like half the time, I don't like it as well, because I've got a very select music taste.
Well, yeah, this was my problem for the weekend.
Yeah, so like there was a nightclub in Preston called Brown's, right? Oh my God, I don't know if it's still there. I'm going back years, and it just played R&B music, and it was like I was there I was knocking on the door waiting for it to open. Like, literally, that club was like the best place ever. and I'm only into that kind of stuff. I'm only into like hip hop, R&B. I don't mind a little bit of house, garage. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like I'm not into like boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, like that just doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
And like, also, you're a dance teacher. Get up and dance. No, that I don't say. If I see your dad, you're a tired fitter, fit me a tire, when he's out on a night out.
Yeah.
Like, and I used to say that to people, but like, oh, you work in a bank? Can you count my money?
Yeah.
Like, it's like you do, like.
I'm not at work.
I'm not like a what's a performing donkey.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because the teenagers say that that's what happens to them.
Is it really?
So they'll go to a family wedding. You dance, get up and dance.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think people are not meaning it in a nasty. They're not meaning it in a nasty way.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, you're dancing, so, and like, don't get me wrong, like, back in the day when I was younger, there was dance-offs going on in every single club that I walked into.
Yeah.
Like, me and Megan, who helps out at the show, one time with this massive dance-off, it ended up into some sort of gymnastics competition. And we were at headstands. I think, there was a roly-poly. Like, do you know what I mean? There's been times, but that's when we were younger. Like, now, it's like, I kind of just want to sit here and, like, just chill. But that's what people don't get that because, obviously, like, in their eyes, they're seeing me dancing to all this.
And I guess people have their expectations and perceptions.
Yes.
And I find this quite a lot, that people forget to look outside of them and like realise that isn't necessarily the case. Just because that's their expectation or perception doesn't mean that is true.
Yeah. I think it's the same for like singers and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people
totally.
meet them and be like, oh, they're dead moody. It's like, maybe they've just done like a massive set on stage and they don't want you to like fangirl them.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been a little bit like that about celebrities and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered.
Yeah, no.
I'm not really that bothered. Like, you know, people are like, oh, so-and-so, let's get a photo. I'm like, let's not. Let's not get a photo.
Yeah.
Like,
when me and my sister went to York Races last year with one of our suppliers at work, and we got to go in the owners circle, and we turned round and there was Michael Owen.
Yeah.
And my sister and her friend were like, oh my God, go and ask for a picture, I was like, no, we cannot go and ask for a picture, just leave him, he's here. Like, no, I'm not doing it.
Like, some of them don't mind, do they? Like, at all. It's a funny moment, actually. Actually, thinking of a funny moment, I actually did something that's totally not me and gone against everything that I've just said. We were at this dance weekender last year, and Mr. Motivator, right? Mr. Motivator just swanning round at this dance comp, right? So I'm like, is that Mr. Motivator? One of the mums is an absolute ledge. Her daughter stopped coming now, and they're such a nice family. One of the mums going, got a picture, and I'm like, yeah, let's get a picture. So I totally went against, and there's a picture of me, and I look back at the picture, I'm like, cringing at myself so bad. Like, what on earth? And I think I said something to him like, I'm you, but in female form. Oh, what a loser. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a cringe, loserish thing to do. Like, I'm dying inside. I think I might have to delete the picture because I just can't cope. I didn't even do anything with it, didn't put it on, do you know what I mean? Didn't put it on social, like, look at me and Mr. Motivator. So I just don't even know what I was doing.
Oh. I can't remember where we're up to.
I don't know where we're up to. Oh, number 5, are we?
Yes. What is your biggest value when it comes to parenting?
I don't know, really. This is a tricky one, really, because I just think that, like, things change as they get older, so your ideas and your... everything changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I think, for me, the main things is that I want my kids to be, like, honest.
Yeah.
I don't want them to lie about stuff or hide things from me. I want them to be able to feel that they can talk to me.
Yeah.
Without me telling them off.
Yeah.
Like, Heidi gets very much like, oh, I don't want to tell you because you're going to tell me off. And I'm like, well, just tell me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and so we try and have quite a lot of conversations like that so she can be open. I think she's going to be I think she's going to be a tricky one. Everyone always tells you that, like, oh, you're going to have a workout with her. And it's just like, yes, I already know. Sometimes I think with girls it's because they're like so much like you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue sometimes. Yeah. Jay's definitely not like me. He's so chilled out. I don't even know how he's so chilled out. He's so laid back. Whereas Heidi's like there's bits of me sometimes, and so is Darcy, so it's just like, sometimes it's like, oh, that's so annoying because I do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so yeah, I want them to be honest and like open. And it's like Jay's been really like that with me recently, which has been really good. And it's like, I just want that to continue.
Yeah.
And then same with Heidi, really. Like, if she's got any worries or anything like, it's like with phones and stuff, isn't it? If there's somebody said something, or even if you've said something and it's been taken out and it's caused an argument. One time she's had an argument with a friend, and I said, well, why is she not speaking? She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, right, show me your phone. Yeah. What have you said to her? Because they don't know, they're young. So they could have said something that's upsetting, you know, that's upset somebody else, and they don't realise. And I looked and I said, no, actually, you've not done anything, you know. But yeah, just being open and honest. I want to be good with money. Like, I think that's really, really important. As in, pay their bills. Yeah. Like, you know, like, I want just to be nice people. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And that's it, really. But it's a difficult question to answer because it just changes. Yeah. With everything. Yeah. You know?
And I think, like, knowing that is, like, a huge key part in parenting anyway, because I think you can get stuck in this thing of you've got what you're doing, and then you just keep doing that, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore, and it like throws you in a spin, and you're like, oh, what's going on? But you have to change with your kids, don't you?
And it's like with that yourself. With everything, isn't it? Because it's like that with work. Yeah. So it's like, I've been doing I don't even know how many shows I've done now. I think it might be 17, but I need to count it because I need to know when the 20th,
oh my God.
like when the 20th one is, because like that's going to be like, I'll have to, you know, do something amazing. I'll have to come in flying from the ceiling or something, you know.
That would be amazing. I could so see you doing that.
I think I've already looked into it. I think there's something, I've got to go on some course to do it. I think I know what it is. I don't think I can get the insurance for it. I mean, I've already looked into it. But, so, because I think we wanted to do ET.
Oh my God.
We still want to do ET, and I reckon we'll do it. But, we were like, well, we have to have someone flying on a bike. We have to. But yeah, what was I even talking about then? Oh yeah, work. So the show, like, even after doing so many shows, we're like, we could do this next time and it would work better. We could do this, you know, like we do we do these quick changes, and I used to have these quick change boxes, and then we realised it's actually easier if people come with the box and it's written, their name's written on with the quick change stuff, and it's like, after 18, 17 years of shows, you'd think you'd already know that, but things change, and then, you know, you're always learning, and you're always learning as a parent, and that's me talking from, I've been a parent for 18 years, and you always, you know, I think even it's like if I look at my mum now, she's technically still parenting. She's technically still parenting.
You don't ever stop, do you? That's,
you know, because if something's, you know, you'll ring them up and you'll have like a bit of a rant. They're there to rant to you sometimes, as parents, aren't they? So it's like, I suppose they're there in that aspect. But then at the same time, it's weird because obviously as your parents get older, you end up not parenting them, but looking after them, you know, and everything else. So that's interesting, isn't it? But so I think if a downside of parenting, if you're going to go, I'm going to stick these values and I want to stick, and I'm not going to, it's only going to set you up to fail.
Yeah, totally.
So you've got to be flexible.
You know? That's a really good point. Flexible,
You've got to be flexible. And again, goes down to mindset, doesn't it, as well?
It does,
Like, I read this book that said, if you wake up in the morning and you go, oh, it's Monday, you're going to have a crap day. And it's so true. If you wake up and you go, sweet, Monday, new week, new start, fresh start, let's go. You're going to have a better day. And it's like, that's kind of, I mean, don't get me wrong. The alarm goes off and I still go, 10 more minutes. It's funny, what I do every year, I don't really do resolutions, but I do goals. So I have a book and I write down house goals, so things I want to do in the house. And work goals, things I want to do with work, and then family goals or life goals. So that could be to save up a certain amount of money, to spend more time playing with the kids, or being outside with the kids, or the house could be, I want to decorate a certain room. And then work could be certain things. And then at the end of the year, I tick off everything that I've done. And most of the time, I can tick them off.
That's
I
good.
think it was like COVID times. I couldn't
Yeah.
tick them off.
Yeah.
It's just like, can't do anything. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
I flipping hated that.
I know, gosh.
But yeah, that's.
What has been your biggest challenge so far?
So I'm in the middle of a challenge.
Oh.
Heidi's not got into the secondary school that she wanted to get into, and I've got an appeal date.
Right.
Have you ever done an appeal or not?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's scary.
Yeah.
And I'm quite a confident person in talking to people and talking for people and talking in big groups. And I was like, oh, brilliant, I'll walk in there and I'll, put on a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I'm going to be really good at this. Anyway, get the paperwork, I'm like, oh, crap. And it's just like a lot.
Right.
So there's going to be 3 people on this panel that you don't know who they are. They're like volunteers.
Yeah.
So they're linked with the educational system.
Yeah.
So they're probably like ex-head teacher. I'm just guessing, and then I think somebody else is just impartial. So he's never been involved in education. So it's just
Yeah.
So there's 3 guys on this. It's going to be on Teams, which is good.
Oh, really?
Because it's like, really, you can't.
It's not the.
And what if I freeze halfway through? Like, so that's a real worry.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that you just have to do it. So you have to go on one meeting where everybody goes on the meeting, and the school has to talk about why they can't accept any more kids.
Right.
Obviously, so they're just going to say, well, we're oversubscribed, we can't take any more, it's going to affect everyone's education, blah, blah, blah. If those 3 people decide, oh, no, you can't, that's not a good enough reason, everybody in the appeal gets in.
Right, okay.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So then it goes, if they go, yeah, okay, fair point, then they then hear everyone's appeal.
Yeah.
So then you get like a time slot. They ask you questions and you answer them, and you can provide evidence.
Right.
So there's quite a lot. Everyone keeps telling me I've got a good case. Mm-hmm. And basically what it is that obviously Jay went to the school.
Yeah.
He's had all the opportunities, and the opportunities they give at that school, no other school provides them. And the thing is, that's an issue for me, and it's a problem, because they need to just start offering the same opportunities in schools. Yeah. Because if they're not, then they need to change the way they're accepting kids into school. Because you can't go off a postcode.
No.
So you're telling me that my kid can't do the courses that she wants to do to progress her into the career she wants to do because of my postcode. Yeah. Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. And it never used to work like that. When I filled in Jay's form, it was about feeder schools, and she goes to the feeder school for that school. And also it was about why you wanted. There was a box. Why do you want to go to this school? Yeah. What are the qualities that this school has that your child? You know what I mean? And you filled it all in. Yeah. There was no box. No. When I filled in the form for Heidi, it was 3 choices. I was like, we don't have 3 choices. Yeah. So I tried to just put the same school. You couldn't do that. No. So I had to put 3 choices. And my 3rd choice I really didn't want. And I was just like, well, I didn't think it'd be a problem. Yeah. I just thought we'd get in. I didn't even think it was going to be, he was like, oh, it's going to be it's a high birth rate, yeah. I was like, whatever. Literally, I was just like, Jay got in, why I'm not getting in? I'm clearly going to get in. Also, my nephew got in, he's like currently in year 8, it's going to be fine, he lives around the corner, it'll be absolutely fine. So when I got this email and she hadn't got in, I was like, yeah. So straight away I'm on the appeal. Yeah. And then, like, you're getting these answers back from the school, like, I was like, oh, I know somebody who's turned down a place. Like, I said, so where is my child on the waiting list? Because her friend's got in who's a mile down the road, so, you know. Wow. So I'm like, so we must be high on the wait, up there. You're 37th on the waiting list. There is no way you're going to get into this school on the waiting list. That's what I got. That's the reply I got. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't understand how this has happened. No. Like, so obviously, like, I'm gonna be prepared for this appeal. I've got to send this evidence off, and then it's going to be on the 7th of June. However, I don't think she's going to get in. Right. I actually don't think she's going to get in. Now, the school that she has been picked to go to are being really quite helpful about the whole situation. And I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah. I feel like I don't know. Yeah. But the issue I've got is, she goes to this other school, she will never be able to do the course that she wants to do. Because then it's not the right opportunities. And it's just a shame because and I was even told by like people on the Lancashire schools line, move house. If it's that important, move.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you want me to move house for my daughter's education for 5 years? So you want me to? So I'm there like on Rightmove, like looking at houses. I'm thinking I don't want to live there.
Yeah.
I actually don't want to live there. Like a lot of people want to live there. I don't want to live there. Like I actually don't. I'm happy with where I live.
Yeah.
Why should I have to move for the 5 years of education that she's going to have? But what's interesting is, if she doesn't get in, it's going to change a lot of lives, not just hers, because it's going to change Darcy's life, because Darcy's going to have to move primary schools.
Yeah.
Because the reason why Darcy's going to have to move primary schools is because all her friends will go to that secondary school. Every single one of them, because they do. It's catchment. That primary school is catchment, you know, and the area's catchment. Yeah. So therefore, why am I putting Darcy through the same pain as Heidi's going through? In that all her friends are going to one school, she's going to have to go to a separate school.
Yeah.
So if Heidi doesn't get in on appeal, then she's going to have to move schools as well. Because I'm not. But she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And she was at a party on Saturday, and like they're all like busy mates, and I'm like, this is horrendous.
Yeah.
And it's so rubbish that it's down to a postcode.
It is.
Like,
the whole system is completely.
I get why they need to do it in a sense. I do get why they need to do it, but why don't they do 80% on postcode, 20% on maybe are they really good at sport? If they're really good at sport, they need to go to this school because that's what you know.
This is so obviously. My eldest is in year 7 and we essentially moved for her to go to the high school she wanted, but we knew we were wanting to move anyway, so it wasn't like we're just moving for high school.
You actually wanted to move.
We hurried to move for that, but we were going to move anyway. And when she started primary school, we didn't get any of our choices, and we'd spent so long looking round trying to find which one was the best fit for her to just basically get the nearest one. And it was just like, wow. And I mean, that all turned out all right in the end. So for high schools, it was different. We kind of prepared ourselves for that might not happen. But why, I was saying like, do schools still specialise in stuff? There was no information on this one specialises on this, or why do they let you and encourage you to look round them all if you're only going to get into your nearest one?
They shouldn't be letting you do it.
The whole system is just...
That's so true. Like, they should have been telling us at the open day, where are you coming from? Just to let you know, this is a high birth rate year, you are not going to get in. Because I was completely oblivious to it. And people might be like, oh, well, you're just thick, because I knew why kids weren't going to get in. And it's like, you know, and there is quite a few people actually from my area, they're like, oh, well, I wouldn't have even bothered to try for that school because you wouldn't get in. I'm like, but my son went there. And if he hadn't gone to dance college and he'd stayed at sixth form, she'd be in.
Yeah.
So it's like...
and that's frustrating in itself, isn't it?
That's annoying, you know? Because really, why... If you have 2 kids, why do they need to go to the same school?
Yeah.
Because think about it, you've got one in primary school right now and one in secondary school. That's not the same school.
No.
So it doesn't really make sense because they get in the school bus.
Yeah.
So... They don't need to.
No, and that's the thing. Not all siblings do go to the same. Primary is different, isn't it? Because you've got to take them. But once you get to high school, it's a whole different ball game, isn't it? And
it's a massive issue. Seems to be a massive issue in like this area because it's like what high schools. No, it's not what high schools are good. If you look, Ofsted. What's a new podcast as well? I don't even look. I don't even look at it.
No.
It does not bother. It doesn't. I don't care.
No.
I don't care. But if you actually were to look at it, you'd find that most of the schools have the same score. Good, good, or whatever. So it's frustrating. And I remember back in the day, it did used to be a specialist thing, wasn't it? Ripley, there was a science or something.
I can't remember.
Because I remember because I was kicking off my mum going, I ain't going to no science. I want to go to Sylvia Young's theatre school down in London, and I want to be on EastEnders. That's what I was saying to my mum, because everyone from EastEnders came from Sylvia Young's theatre school.
Well,
and mum's like, it's 20 grand a year. You can't go. And I'm like, oh, but why not? And so she's like, you're going to have to go to Ripley like your brother and sister. And I'm like,
well, Heysham was like your drama. Morecambe High was your outdoor ed.
So
I was Morecambe then, so they were basically our 2 options unless we did the grammar school. But
so it's interesting, isn't it? You know, but they certainly still do that. You know, they specialise in certain things.
And the thing is, I think back, I mean, I know for primaries it was, I don't know for high school, but it was more the school was part of the admissions process.
Oh, they had nothing to do with it now.
No.
They had literally nothing.
So when we moved, my youngest, because obviously we've moved house, my eldest started high school, which was the opposite direction to primary school. I said, we can't keep my youngest at that primary school. It's too much. So when we started looking at moving her, oh my God.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the process. You've got to do it all through the council. You basically have to do it like you're applying for schools, put 3 choices down. I was like, what? I don't want 3 choices. I want one or 2 schools that I know that I want her to go to. If not, I'm not moving her. But then it was like, there's no places. Well, what if we'd have moved in out of area?
Yeah.
Like, this system doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
But also what's awful about it is, people have said to me, well, why didn't you put your mum's address down? Because you would have just got in. I'm like, because that's lying.
Yeah.
That's lying.
And it makes me wonder, how many...
Loads of people are doing it.
People do that. And
loads.
I would, we had this, because obviously we were moving, and we were like, at one point we thought, oh my God, we're not going to get moved before high school applications is due. Based on our address, we will not get her in because we're in Morecambe.
Yeah.
And then people we'd got a few family members out near where she goes to school, and it was like, oh, put their address down. I was like, but I can't lie. What if we get caught? Like, I just wouldn't dare.
No. And when you're going back to parenting values, and you want your kids to be honest, and you can't. Yeah. It just doesn't sit right with me.
No.
And I know some people would do it. Some people have even rented houses in an area. That's just weird.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird. And also sometimes you feel like saying, do you know what, stuff you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the other school.
Yeah.
And they'll probably have a better time.
Yeah.
But then, that's what I'd love to say. But then I know that the other school's not offering the course that she wants to do.
And that's the thing, isn't it?
And that's what's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's like, educationally, the school that she's not got into is the right school for her.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So whether I can put that through or not in the appeal, but I really don't hold out any hope. I had a friend the other day that had posted that she hadn't got in. She lives in Lancashire, I don't know, I think it's like Bolton or something.
Yeah.
She hadn't got in on appeal. Right. So not many people do.
Appeals are quite hard.
There was 28 last year apparently, and only 6 got in.
Yeah.
So it's just not. I don't think I'm in the impression that it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But all I can say is I can give it my best fight, and if after that it's completely taken out of my hands, I've done everything I can do.
Yeah.
And things happen for a reason, and let's just see what happens.
See what happens. Yeah.
But that is a massive challenge.
Yeah.
I tell you another challenge that I've come to realise is never going to work is a work-life balance.
Yeah.
Everyone's always chasing it, and I don't think there is. I don't think there is one. I don't think there is one at all. I think gone are the days, especially now with how expensive it is to live, where a parent works part-time.
Yeah.
You can't really do it.
Yeah.
Me and Dave say all the time, I actually laughed, I said, right, so we've got this utility room that we've made out of the garage, so we've got hardly in the garage, we've got this utility room, and it's just mounds of clothes, dirty clothes on the floor, big mound, clean clothes in a big mound that need to be sorted out here, and I'm like, right, so what we could do with doing is employing someone to sit in this room all day and just going through this flipping mound of stuff. Why have we got so much washing? It's awful. And it's just we say a lot of times, one of us could do with, just working part-time hours.
Yeah.
And it's you can't.
No.
And you definitely can't when you're running a business.
No.
Because there's always something that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And it's just you can't do it. And it's just something that just doesn't really work.
No.
And I think what you've got to do is be grateful for the time that you do have. So for example, yes, I work 24 hours a day during the school term, but in the school holidays, I am off.
Yeah.
Obviously I will do bits,
Yeah.
I'll do admin and I'll do maybe a summer class or whatever, but then that's it. Most of the time, I'm actually there for my kids.
Yeah.
So instead of me beating myself up, being oh, I work all the time, and oh, my kids are drawing me birthday cards with a picture of me on my laptop. Yeah. that. Yes, right. So I'm like, oh God. It's like turn your mindset the other way and go, but I'm there every single summer holiday. I am, because I'm self-employed. If they ring me up and go, your kids ill, can you come pick them up? I'm there. Yeah. When there's the only thing I can't do at the minute, I've never been able to do, is anything at school that happens on a Friday. Because you have to be in Lancaster quite early, so I'm like, I actually can't do anything that happens on a Friday. So I'm never there then. So I'm never there for the Christmas fair. But come on, I don't think I'm missing much.
I think that's a win.
But plays, everything else, like I'm always there. Whereas like a lot of people might struggle with that.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
So, but sometimes I do get jealous when I'm picking up my kids. I've already worked all morning and all afternoon, and I'm about to go and teach 4 hours of dance classes, and we don't get to sit down and have tea at the table. Yeah. Like, and I sit there and I look at the parents and I go, oh, walking home, are you? Gonna put the TV on, watch a bit of news round, and then Neighbours, and then have tea. Are you gonna sit round and have tea together? Lovely, enjoy yourself. You know, and I get a bit bitter about it, but I think it's just not how our life works. No. You know?
And they'll probably be looking at you. Thinking something that you're doing. It's like, oh, look at her.
She's got some holidays off, has she? Yeah, that kind of stuff.
And I think that's the thing that we all have to remember is, because we all do it, we all look at other people and 100%. Make that assumption. It's like, and the stuff that we want that they've got, but it works both ways,
especially at the minute, like with social media and stuff. And what's interesting is, I have never, like, you know when like, don't know, you'll see like a fitness model or something on there's loads of them, they're all over, and it's like, oh, I wish it could be like that. I'm never really like that, because it's like, well, you are who you are, and I suppose you could be like that if you really wanted to, like count your calories every 5 seconds on MyFitnessPal. Do you know what I mean? Like, you suppose you could be if you wanted to. So I'm not that bothered, and I also know that filters exist and Photoshop exists, so that doesn't bother me. But at dance, it actually started to bother me recently. So like I would say it's been happening for the past sort of like year or so, when you see like other dancing schools and they're at a comp that you decided not to go to, and you're like, oh, maybe I should have gone to that competition. Like, it looks really good, and oh, well, if they're doing that, then maybe they're gonna get better than us, and like, it's weird.
It's hard, isn't it?
And I'm like, why am I starting to do this? Because I've only just started to do it, and people have been doing it for a long time. And I think it's, especially if you're following so many people, because obviously on my work Instagram, I'm following there's all just dance places and dancers. So if they're doing it and you're sat at home, then you're like, oh no, you know, and it's that like FOMO, isn't it, in a way? But then at the same time, they'll be sat at home one day, and I will have put my stuff on, they'll be going, oh, we should be doing that, and you know, and it's just, it's you, and you know that you shouldn't be doing it. But I found myself doing it recently, but only for dance. Not for a thing. Sometimes, occasionally, houses. I'm like, that's a tidy lounge. My lounge isn't tidy. You know, sometimes. Sometimes.
Interiors is a big one for me. Like, you see the perfect houses and stuff, and obviously because we've been in about 18 months and we're like putting our stamp on it, and it's just like, oh.
It's like, oh, right.
And I have to I've had to unfollow quite a few, to be fair, because it's just like, no, it's not helping me.
Again, it's a mindset thing, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
If you let yourself go down, it's like my teachers, Frankie and Chloe, they're a bit younger, and they're on, I don't really go on TikTok, and they were like, oh, look at this video on TikTok. I'm like, get out TikTok, just get out of there, just get out. And the reason I won't go on it is because the way it works is mad. So like, as soon as you go on it, there's a video. So it's not like you're on your homepage when as soon as you go on it, there's a video, and there's another video, and they just keep coming up, and they're crap. It's a load of rubbish. And it's like, well, that's 30 minutes of my life I'm never getting back, so I'm not going on that app ever again. I was like, I do not have the time for 30 minutes to sit and watch someone blink on TikTok. Like, in blinking time to music, like I don't have time.
There's like so much random stuff on there,
so rubbish. So I'm just like, I don't have the time for that. Like, that's not happening. And any parent that is actually on TikTok, they need to stop.
That's me.
Stop.
I think we're on the last
Last
question
one.
now. What do you wish you could change about parenting in general, as in for everyone?
It's going to be the mindset thing, 100%. So it's like, sometimes when we're talking about being judged, or you feel like you're being judged, you're probably not.
Yeah.
It's just your mindset.
Yeah.
It's the same with teenagers in a way, when they're like, oh, but I don't want to do that because everyone's going to laugh at me.
Yeah.
No one is laughing at you. No one at all. Like, not a single person is laughing at you. They're laughing at you when you're going on stage and you're looking miserable, like you don't want to be there. I say that to them. I'm like, you think you're going to look stupid by when you do like a crazy face when you're dancing, right? I said, but you actually look good.
Yeah.
You actually look stupid when you're not doing a face at all, and you look like you should be standing in the queue at Asda.
Yeah.
But you're on stage performing in front of people.
Yeah.
Like, but they've got to like beat that barrier down, and it's like they've got to realise that no one is laughing at them.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, obviously, when you're teaching so many kids from different ages. 4-year-olds just don't care.
Yeah.
But then they also don't really know what they're doing. And then you've got like the 8-year-olds that are really starting to get that attitude, and then the 10-year-olds have killed it, and you've worked all those years and they killed it. Then they turn 12 and 13 and it goes again.
Yeah.
Because they're worried about what people are thinking of them, and is that person laughing at me? No, they are laughing, but they're laughing between themselves about a joke.
Yeah.
And happens a lot in my class. I've got a lot of girls and they're like giggling and stuff. I'm like, girls, stop giggling, because people will think that it's about them. Like, to the point of sometimes I'm like, girls, are you laughing at me? Is it something that I've said? Because it's like they just giggle and they're like, we're just laughing.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no reason for it. They're just girls. So yeah, it's a mindset thing for everything. Through everything, really. There's this book that I've been reading. There's a couple of books I've been reading actually that are really good. There's this one book, I don't even know the name of the book, but it's about people of different colours.
Okay.
So like there's green people, there's yellow people, there's red people.
That sounds good.
I'll have to find the name of this book.
I love stuff like this.
And it's really helped me, because some parents can be really rude with how they sort of talk to me, and then some parents can beat around the bush a little. I'm a bit of a beat around the bush a little. Because sometimes somebody asks me something and the real answer is no. Yeah. But I'll go, well, and it's like I should just say no. Yeah. And like Chloe's really good at that.
Is she?
Oh yeah, we laugh because she's like, no. And Frankie's like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, so you're getting like
3 levels.
You're getting 3 levels of us. Like we work really well as a team because you're getting 3 levels of us, which is so good. And we laugh about this all the time because Chloe knows she's like that. Like, and we say to her, it's not a bad.
Not at all.
Trait,
no.
To be honest and be like bang.
Yeah. And
like sometimes I totally need to be more like that.
Yeah.
But I am. There's certain colours, and one's like a people pleaser, and I'm a bit of a people pleaser. And what it does with the colours is it teaches you how to deal with people of those certain colours. So it is interesting. So for you, it'd be interesting at work when people come into the shop, like you can then, okay, so that. In your person, you've been attacked because they've been really quite rude. That's just the way they are, and then you need to approach them in a different way than somebody else. Yeah. So that's a really good one. And then there's another one, and I think it's called "Why Haven't They Told Me This Before" or something like that.
Oh, I think I'm just reading this one. Why has nobody told me this
before?
I'm just reading this
and
one.
like I've not read it all. I've only read sections, but it's really interesting because I've been reading it. I'm like, I kind of already do that now. And in a way it's good because it means you know that you are actually doing all the right things. But it's a total mindset thing. So instead of going, if you're a parent of a little child and you feel quite lonely, which you do, and then you've done that post that I know went viral that is so true, isn't it though? You do. It's a very lonely world sometimes, and do you know what's interesting is I can relate to that at work as well, because I could teach 80 kids in one day, and it's just been me. Yeah. And my husband's not going to understand if I go home and say, oh well, this kid was being a bit naughty, and I need to find a way of sort of like, and it's just they're not going to, so you've come into contact with all those people, but it's just been you teaching. It can be the loneliest job in the world, which is how weird is that when I'm stood on stage with all those kids. But it's got better because I've got Chloe and Frankie now, who are like they do quite a lot. We've got this group, and we share share everything on there, and it's more of a team. Whereas a couple of years ago, it was a lonely job, a really lonely job. But like if you've got a toddler and you're feeling lonely, don't sit there and go, oh well, I don't want to go to toddler group. I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
Well, you're never going to know anyone if you're still sat in your house. Like, get out there and, like, you know, if that's going to be your problem, like, I don't really know anyone, I want to maybe make a friend with that's got a child the same age. Well, loads of people want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, because not everybody knows somebody that has a child the same age. Because you're not all going to sit there and go, right, girls, we're all friends, let's all get pregnant at the same time. Yeah. That's not what life. I mean, I know it happens to some, but it's just not. It's just not the way it is. And not only that, people do change when they have kids, and that's not a bad thing. No. That's just the way it is. And so you will see your friendship groups will change, won't they, as you get older, and they do. And it's not just because they've changed, but you've changed as well sometimes. And it's like, it's not a bad thing. It's just the way that your life has gone. You know?
and that's it. And you change as well, don't you? Like, you, especially as you get older, like, I know I've massively changed, and like my values and even interests and stuff have changed, and you just kind of outgrow people, don't you? And they outgrow you, and you just you've got
isn't it interesting how like your interests do change? But so for the minute, when I was working till 4 o'clock in the morning on the show, I started watching this thing called Race Around the World, and it's really, really interesting, and it's on like BBC Two or something, and these teams of 2 go out, and they have to go from one side of the world like to the other on a certain budget. They don't have a phone. They only have this money. It's bonkers, right? So they have to find you're not allowed to fly, so you have to travel by bus or boat or walk or car or taxi or whatever. Anyway, it's really interesting, and I'm watching it going, oh my god, I want to go to that place, and I feel like now I'm like obsessed with travelling, but this has been something that's happening like. Basically, we book like Ryanair flights for 17 quid, right? Because we're a family of like 5, so like if we want to go on holiday, we've got to try and do it as cheap as possible. And we take the kids with a backpack, so we don't have to pay for luggage. And we've been to like Portugal, I think now 3 times, and like £17 flights. And it's like we went to Portugal in the Easter holidays, and I think it cost us like 800 quid. For 5 nights, and it's like Centre Parks is double that for a weekend. You know, and we went to Portugal, and we stopped in this amazing apartment, and we had just an absolutely fantastic time. And I think I'm obsessed with it because when I'm abroad, I'm fully switched off. Like I'm not going to do a Facebook post. Like I'm not. I'm just not. You know, it's just like that's it. Like I'm switched off because I know that I can't do anything. I can't. I'm not in the UK. So like I'm fully switched off, so I feel like I've totally gone like obsessed with sort of like travelling and wanting to do that, and whereas I used to be like, oh, I don't like people that want to go travelling.
It's funny,
it's a total waste of time.
And I was always like that. I was never into travelling. Like my friends that'd go off travelling and that, and both me and my husband just weren't into it. But now, as we've got older and obviously the kids are getting older and stuff, we've got like a bucket list of places that we want to go, and like now I like you say, I'll see places on TV and I'm like, oh my god, I want to go there. Like, it looks amazing.
Chloe and Frankie laugh at me because they're like, when's Jen's travel limited? And I'm like, because honestly, so for example, usually we always have a night out at the end of the school year, because like then we can celebrate everything that we've done for the year. So we'll go to Manchester, or we went to Chester last time, and for the same price as a hotel in Manchester, I booked flights to Milan.
Oh my god!
So we go to Milan for 2 days.
Wow, that is amazing.
And I went to the hairdressers the other day. She went, have you got any trips booked? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, we're going to Milan for the works due. And she's like, what? And all the hairdressers are like, what? And I'm just like, honestly, it's the same price as a hotel in Manchester.
That is amazing.
Like, might as well.
Well, yeah,
get
why
your
not?
Backpack. You've got a backpack though. I'm telling you, like, honestly, but people will look at again, it's like that money thing, isn't it? People will look at, oh, well, I wish I could go to Milan. Well, you can. You can. Because how much money have you just spent at Highest Point this weekend? You know, you actually can if you just go, right, be savvy about it. I'm going to spend £17 on a flight. I'm going to take a flipping backpack.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's so... But it's, at the same time, we kind of love it. Like, just seeing the kids going off with their backpacks and they're seeing all these different places.
That's it, yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good.
And that's what life's about, isn't it?
100%.
That is the sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we get so stuck in this rut and focused on what we're meant to be doing, what we need to do, and sometimes we do just need to look outside of that and think, well, hang on.
Well, like, because me and my brother are really similar.
Yeah.
My brother would be great at the podcast.
Yeah.
We're really similar.
Next guest
and
there.
I think so. We're really similar, and he's got this, like, just do it attitude. I mean, he's a little bit more spontaneous than me. Like, I'm a bit of a planner.
Yeah.
But, he's like, just do it, just get it done. And one thing that he did, and this is a real good lesson for anyone that's thinking, oh, should I be doing this or should I be... This is for anything. Well, obviously my dad died recently and he had this brain tumour and it was horrific. What we went through was absolutely horrific. And one day I'll get that flipping surgeon, but because he just messed him up. It was horrendous. It was absolutely horrendous. And basically... my sister just said, he's seen all of you get married and he's not seen me get married because she'd been engaged for a really long time. Yeah. And my brother just went, do it. Just do it. Like, you don't need a lot of money to get married. Yeah. Just do it. And we the people who, you know, Crooklands Hotel? Yeah. Some of the people that own it, their kids come to street dance. Right. And they had this massive cottage there. Right. And they... sorted it out that we could stay there. Oh my god, it was amazing. The best thing about it is because my dad was very confused. He thought it was my house. So my dad thought I lived in this massive house. It had like 8 bedrooms and like we're all with like en suites. And I'm like, Dad. And he's like going, yes, yes, and he's giving me this big hug and I'm like, yeah, it's nice. And I'm like, oh my god, like it's so funny. And so my brother was like, just get it done. And she got married on like a Tuesday. Yeah. And my dad, obviously, because he was so confused, like he's never gonna understand what's going on. And I was like the chauffeur, and the bridesmaid. So I'm like getting them all in. So I got in the car and like, I'm like, all right, Dad. And he's like, yeah, like you couldn't really talk. It was it was bonkers. Anyway, get to the church, and luckily it was the same church as my older sister had got married in, right? And it was the same church we used to go to like Sunday school in with the kids and stuff. And he walked down the aisle. We thought he wasn't gonna. We thought he wasn't gonna. It was weird. It was so weird, and at the same time, like we managed to do that. So it's just like we only managed to do that, I think, because my brother was like, "Get it done. Just get it done." Yeah. And again, it's another mindset. It is, because you could have sat there and gone, "Oh well, we don't have the money to do it," and Dad's poorly anyway, and so we just won't bother. Yeah. And it's like...
Yeah, you can always find excuses, can't you?
All
or you
the time.
Can just, like you say, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Like, because, I mean, there's certain things you can't do. Like, I can't move into a mansion. Yeah. Like, but at the same time, if I really wanted to, I could be like, right, well, how am I going to make $1 million? You know, if you really put your mind to it, like... I think got it's
knowing exactly what you want and going for it, isn't it? And not doing that thing that we all do of making excuses or well.
And also you've got to think of what kind of person you're being for your kids. So if you're being a person that's going like, yeah, you can do that, your child's going to be much more confident rather than, as I have had parents before in the past say in front of their children, oh, but they're not very good at it, are they? And I'm like, wow. Wow. Yeah. And straight away I'm like, no. Like, you're wrong. And I'll tell them that they're wrong. And, like, a lot of the time, like, sometimes it's difficult. Obviously, everyone's got different ways of parenting. And, like, again, it's like you can't judge people for saying or doing what they do. But sometimes when it comes to GCSEs, you'll get quite a few kids that leave because they've got to focus on GCSEs. But they're only dancing 1 hour a week. Yeah. And that 1 hour it's proven, it's medically proven that it's actually going to be good for them. It's going to help them actually get that information in.
And it's that outlet.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's
that they need.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you telling me that your child's going to revise from 3 o'clock in the afternoon when they get home from school all the way through to 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
They're not.
No.
They're not going to do that. And even if they did do that, they're not going to be right.
No.
So sometimes that is a real frustrating thing, because it's like, I know that you're saying that because you think that's the best thing for your child, but I'm telling you from experience of dealing with children every year that are doing their GCSEs that's actually not the right way to go about it. But I'm not judging them for making that decision, because I can see why. Yeah. Why, but at the same time, it's like, just see it from a different perspective.
That's it, isn't it? It's sometimes just that different perspective. And I think as parents it's so hard because we're the adult and, you know, we're in charge, but we have to remember that we don't own our kids, and that we're not always right, and that what we think, like I did a post on this recently with my members, is how I'd gone against one of my values for something with my youngest, but I'd done that because I have to think that whilst they're my values, they're not necessarily what are going to be her values. So you have to kind of meet in the middle, don't you?
At the minute, Darcy, like, she just wants to wear what she wants to wear. And like, obviously, like, as a parent, you buy them their clothes, don't you, when they're younger, and it's your taste, isn't it? Yeah. And it's like, I look back at sort of like what Heidi and Jay used to wear, and I'm like, oh, they were such trendy kids, and Darcy's walking out in a sequin skirt, floral leggings, and a fluorescent green top, and I'm like, what are you doing? Her hair's all over the place. She looks like she's at highest point every day of the week, right? And I'm like, what? And I just sit there and I think, but that's what you want to wear? Yeah. And she comes out and she goes, I've made a bag. And she's made a bag out of paper. And I'm like, do you know what? You do what you want to do, because this is you letting out your creativity. And yes, you don't look like trendy kids that are dressed in Zara on Instagram. You know, you don't. Yeah. But you look like someone that's creative. Yeah. And she came out the other day, they were doing dresses royalty or whatever for the coronation, and she said everyone is wearing an Elsa dress, so I'm not wearing an Elsa dress. I was like, right, what are you gonna wear? I'm gonna wear a mermaid dress and my homemade crown. You should the state's homemade crown, right? It was big white, like tall out. Oh, it was terrible. It was awful. I had to put a picture on my Instagram, just like, this is how she wants to go out, and this is how I'm going to let her, because she wants to be different to everybody else. So she's got this massive tall crown, mermaid dress, black leggings, socks, and Crocs. Right, and I'm like, just go for it. Yeah. Just you go.
And to have the confidence to do
she
that
wants
as
to be different than everybody else.
I love
and
that.
That's what's so, because it's so funny, because you know how we're saying you definitely change and your interest changes, and it's 100% true. Because we've been clearing out my mum's house, I got an old school report, and oh my god, some of the stuff on that report is me. It is still me. So when it's like, her conversations are very interesting, her views are interesting, and all this different stuff. She's very creative, loads of stuff, and I'm like, it was weird, because I read it and I was like, I am still me. Yeah. Is it it's so funny. It swings and roundabouts, because yes, we've changed as people, and yes, we're going to keep changing, and we're going to keep changing even more from now, and our interests are going to change as well. However, we actually those personality traits are still always going to be there, and we've got to let our kids go in a sense, and that's such another important point. Some parents will come in and they'll go, he's very nervous, he's really nervous. And the kids ran in, sat in a circle. And I look at that parent and I go, you're nervous. Yeah. And I get why you're nervous, because you don't know me. Yeah. And it was funny, because I taught some kids at Lancaster, because obviously, you know, they go up the stairs. And I got these 3 kids, and I'd gone, come on, kids. And we'd gone upstairs, and I thought, oh my God, like, your parents don't know me. And I'm just taking you upstairs, and like, obviously I'm a very trusted person, like, do with a lot of kids, DBS, safeguarding, the full works. But I'm like, So I came down and I went, oh, parents, I forgot to say, but do pop up next week and have a look at what we're doing, because I could be teaching them anything up there, Egyptian, you don't know what, you know. And then they were like, oh yeah, we will. And it's like, it's seeing it more now. It's like, obviously it's easier for us to teach when the parents aren't in the room, because the parent in the room, they don't act the same.
No, they're totally different.
Then they'll run to the parent, and the parent will go, oh, I don't think they like it. It's like, no, but they do, but they're just running to you, you know. And it's like, you've got, they've got real big confidence issues. Give me your child and I will sort out their confidence issues. You know that, you know, you totally know that. And it's like, just, I will sort that out. Yeah. Like, you know, and it's so funny, because it's like, you're the nervous one, not your child. But the fact that you're going, oh, he's very nervous, that can rub off onto that child, you know. And it's like when I'm at the airport, like going, right guys, bags off, security. Heidi's now like, security, like freaking out, and I'm like, oh, she's got that, because I've been like fluffing at one point. I find this, you know,
like I've noticed so much stuff I do, and then as my anxiety got worse, that like I do all sorts like that, and then not so much with my youngest, because I kind of sorted myself out a bit, but with my eldest, and I think, oh my god, what have I done? Like, that is me, that's my fault.
It's so good that you can see it though, that you can see it. Like I know my mistakes as a parent. Like, my kids are rubbish at eating, like, so they have like quite a beige diet. I did when I was a kid. Like, it was like chicken nuggets, that's it, you know. And I remember crying at Christmas dinner going, I don't want to eat a roast, and I still don't really like roast dinners. And it's just one of those things that I eat so much better now and a lot more healthier. But for my kids, like, I know why they're fussy eaters, and that's because we're busy and we live a really busy lifestyle. So if we can just quickly give them pasta with no sauce and a bit of cheese sprinkled on, that's Darcy's diet, then that's what we're going to give her. And I know that that's my fault, because I'm not giving her a plate of peas and going, you're not having anything else, do you eat those peas? I know, because I've tried it a million times, what I need to do to get. And it's funny, because one time this school flagged it up, because they were like, we are quite concerned that she just is looking at food and like hurling at the sight of it. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, you know. Anyway, because we're cross borders with the school, they go to school in Cumbria and we're Lancashire. There's, again, another problem. The services are completely different. So in Lancashire, there's no service for eating for children. Right. And I'm like, really? But there's children with eating disorders. That's weird. Lots of children with and then disorders. In Cumbria there is. Right, okay. So this woman rings me up and she goes, right, so have you tried a chart? I'm like, yeah, I've tried a chart. And right, now, and I just said, yeah, but like, you know, obviously, like, she wants to eat chocolate and crisps. I said, which I'm pretty sure we most do. She went, no, not me. I like carrots. Right, well, flipping good for you, mate. But, you know, and you know that, and that's the part of parenting when you're just like, you know, we're
it's just not realistic, is it?
And I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going wrong with it. It's just, you have to pick your battles. I think you say this a lot, don't you?
You do, totally.
And it's like this morning, Darcy was kicking off about something, and I can't remember what it was. And Dave was like, just flipping let her do it, Heidi. And I was like, well, yeah, like, why? Just let her do it. It's easier to just let her do that, what she wanted to do, rather than you know, because it wasn't going to turn her into a, you know, a crazy kid if she did that. And it's you've just got to pick your battles, and everyone's work-life balance is completely different, and, you know, other people might have time to sit there with their kids and make sure they're eating the right foods. At the minute, we don't. Summer holidays, my kids hate it because they know that I do have the time, and they're like, why are we all eating the same meal? Why are we all eating the same thing? I want a sandwich. And it's just like, well, here you go. But then also at the same time, I've lived through it with Jay. He was a picky eater. He's now 18 and he eats anything. Yeah. Because he's used to going on holiday and having like an all-inclusive buffet. And he'll go, and that's actually, to be honest, that's what made him a better eater.
Trying different
because he was trying different foods, and he was trying, and now he eats anything. So it's just, you've got to pick your battles.
You have, So it is what it is.
Yeah, pick your battles, change your mindset. Yeah. And that's it.
Bro. There we go. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to follow, review and share with other parents you know. You can now listen on Apple, Spotify and Amazon. If you would like to be a guest on the podcast, please get in touch via any of my social media channels, website or email. Thank you, Jen, for joining me today. It's been great to have you, and thank you to everyone for listening.